of the dealings that were happening there. Yet we know that the buck stops with him when it comes to such matters. When you talk about accountability, is accountability a suggestion? Is accountability for a specific kind of individuals in the country? Or should everyone, under the matrices, under the law, be accountable for their actions?
I mean, you started by talking about leadership. So leadership and accountability, where is the nexus? Like, for instance, on this issue of the energy products in Kenya, I mean, the president has appointed a CS. Then you've got principal secretaries. Yes. And the principal secretary has got a very unique position. That is the accounting officer and is the authorized officer. And then you've got a number of parastatal heads. And there's been a lot of correspondence on social media that, in fact, the CS was aware. I've seen that is in copy. Now, when you look at it from a critical perspective, the first question to ask is, when the CS was copied, did they actually get that letter in time? You know, we know of, well, I've not been in the administration, but I know how the bureaucracy works. The probability does exist that you're in copy, but you get the letter after the fact. And that is why the CS, the two principal secretaries so mentioned, they must come out and offer clarity that were they in fact aware. You know, in the old Chinese society, they used to train clever thieves. So if you've got public servants of rank who want to engage in mischief, they can actually cover their trails. So the first thing we need to establish is, when were these letters done? And did the cabinet secretary in fact receive that letter? Because part of the reason why Kenya and generally Africa doesn't make progress, we've got a number of leaders who don't take accountability, who do not take responsibility for both errors of omission and commission. Yes. As a CS for energy, one expects that he's actually alive to everything that is happening at his docket. Yes. But if for some reason the public servants of rank under him decide to keep information away from him, then also we need to know. Now, if that is the case, then is President Ruto aware that a number of cabinet secretaries are actually flying blind, and it's the principal secretaries who are running the show? And I recall some time ago, during the second administration, principal secretaries were, then permanent secretaries were a nightmare. A number of cabinet ministers had no idea what was happening in the dockets. So we need to have clarity on that. But all said and done, what does Morai expect of public servants of rank? That all decisions taken must serve public interest and national interest. It's a national tragedy, and it's unacceptable for public servants of rank, whether you are appointed or elected, to take advantage of these geopolitical variables in the Middle East to make a quick buck for yourself. I mean, you've been told there are figures flying all over, 43, 50, 18. 500. Yeah. That there are public servants of rank driving GK vehicles, GK bodyguards, GK assistants, GK energy products, who sit in a room, serve the GKT, and then they scheme, how do we rob Kenyans blind? How do you rob Mora? Yeah, how do you rob Mora? Ati, hiyo mafuta tunaipata wapi? How much are we going to make per liter? 50. Aya, wewe utachukua 10, mimi nitachukua 10, na mimi nitachukua 10. That is unacceptable.
So,
but, yes.
Isn't it an indictment